Hello, everybody. Welcome to season 2 of Especialmente Normal. We have here Filipa Ferreira, me, Madalena, and our first guest is Beth. Hello, Beth. Welcome. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you so much. So happy to be here.
So we will try to do a small introduction about you. If we have any information wrong, which is possible, please let us know. Okay. So Beth is originally from Ohio in the US. Mm-hmm. And she started dancing when she was only 3 years old. Mm-hmm. She found her way to New York, where she became a rocket at the legendary Radio City Music Hall and also performed in 6 Broadway shows. Mm-hmm. In addition to her career as a performer, Beth is also a certified trainer and the founder of Pop Tap and The Limit, mm-hmm. 2 incredible dance communities that we will try to talk a little bit about today. So far is all correct?
So far, so good.
Yeah, great.
So let's.
So you are a performer. Have you always know you wanted to be a performer? How did it all start?
Yeah, I don't think growing up I knew that I wanted to be a performer. I think it was something natural in me. I was a very shy child, but my parents put me in dance lessons, and the minute I had my first recital and I was on stage, I was like a completely different person, like kind of the opposite of most people. Like I was so shy in person, but if I was on stage, I was like, so it was, they were like, well, I think she's made for the stage. So I've danced pretty much my entire life. And growing up in the Midwest, it doesn't ever seem like it would be a reality to be a professional dancer, or in New York City, where I think it's the mecca of performing arts in the United States. So the best thing that happened was that I would do dance competitions, national dance competitions every year. And we would always go to a different city in the country for those competitions. And every other year it was in New York City. So I came to New York for the first time when I was 11 years old. And so every other year since I was 11 years old, I was lucky enough to come to New York City and see Broadway shows and see the Rockettes and, get familiar with it, that it still didn't seem like a possibility. So I don't think I ever fully was like, I want to do this, because I actually was at the end of high school before I was enrolled at Ohio Wesleyan University, and I wanted to go into pre-med and be a pediatrician.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's interesting, I just, that was like, either or. I didn't really think it was possible, but the end of my senior year of high school, I was 17, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go audition for the Rockettes in New York City, just to see. I came with 2 of my girlfriends. They weren't dancers. They just came with me. I can't believe our parents let us go to New York City by ourselves at 17. But I think my parents were like, well, she knows the city. We've been there a number of times, but so I came to New York to audition for the Rockettes. And because I had seen Broadway shows before, I told my friends, we have to go see a Broadway show. So we just found the cheapest tickets possible and went to see the revival of 42nd Street, the musical that was on Broadway at the time. Mm-hmm. And I was so used to standing outside the stage door after the show to get autographs on my playbill. I told my friends, I was like, this is what we do. We have to go to the stage door and get autographs from the cast members on our playbill. So they came with me and we were standing outside the stage door getting autographs. And there's always a stage door guard at a Broadway show that lets people in and out and stuff like that. And I think this stage door guard of this show heard my friends talking amongst each other that I was here, a dancer, going to audition. I don't really know, but she handed me her invitation to the year anniversary party of the show on Broadway that evening. They were having that evening after the show. And it was at the Rainbow Room at the top of the NBC building in Rockefeller Center. And I don't know. I mean, again, I'm a shy personality. I'm not a schmoozer, like, ooh, let me talk to this person. So I don't know. My friends just convinced me to go by myself. So I got dressed up and went to this party by myself of like all these Broadway cast members. There were some famous people there. And I was like, so I got in the food line because that was something to do is, get a plate of food. And after I got my food, I was like, where do I go? And I literally, whether it was the only seat open in the place or not, I literally only like saw a seat open next to one of the girls playing one of the leads in the show at the time. And I just went up to her and I said, hi, I'm Beth. Do you remember me from the stage tour this afternoon? And she was so nice. She took me under her wing and she introduced me to the director, Mark Bramble. And he said I should come audition sometime. And I don't know what went through my head, but I pulled my headshot and resume out of my purse and handed it to him right then and there. And I think my headshot, one of my best friends in high school took photos of me in the basement of her house and developed them in our dark room at our high school. And I don't know what was on my resume, but he took it. And then she introduced me to the choreographer, Randy Skinner, and he invited me to come audition for the show a few days later. So I ended up going to this audition and it was a male dance call. I was only female there. I guess I'd missed the female dance call, but it was me and then 12 guys at the end of the day, still there after, cuts and all that kind of stuff throughout the audition process. And it was me and 12 guys doing a hat and cane dance at the end of the day. And then a month later, I was called back and then I was cast in the national tour of the show. And I ended up understudying the lead, which it wasn't too hard. If you know 42nd Street, Peggy Sawyer is the part I covered. And it was a girl from Pennsylvania that wanted to perform and had no idea what she was doing. And basically that was me. But yeah, so that's how I, right after high school at 18, I went on tour with a national tour of a Broadway show from 18 to 20 for 2 years. And which was, I always think that things happen for a reason. And there's different paths that you're led on, whether it's the path that you are thinking, I want to be on this path, but then you're kind of like, wait, this is a different opportunity than I never thought I would have. Because I was going to New York to audition for the Rockettes. And I went to the Rockette audition and I got cut immediately. And I was like, oh, that was it, immediately. And, but I didn't know that for the Rockette audition, a lot of people train and learn the choreography and learn all of the specific stuff. And I just went in raw dancer from Ohio, never done Rockette choreography ever. But so I got cut, but on the national tour of 42nd Street, there were a few Rockettes that did the national tour as well. And in different cities in the hotels, we would find a ballroom in the hotel and they would train me and teach me the choreography and all of the specifics and everything. So towards the end of the tour, I auditioned for the Rockettes again and I ended up getting it. So after the national tour of 42nd Street, I moved then to New York permanently and did the Rockettes. So it happened, but in a different direct, path or whatever. But so then now I've been performing ever since.
Oh, that's nice. It was meant to be.
Yeah.
That's really, really nice. Really nice. But as a performer, I imagine you must go through a lot of auditions, as you said, eventually face rejection. You have even say that it can be very lonely, a lonely journey. How do you cope with that negative side of things, of this type of profession?
Yeah, I've mentioned before, it can be very lonely, but it's interesting because you're with a lot of people that also feel lonely doing it. Cause it's very you are hustling for yourself to get into a show or to get a job or anything, but you're with a lot of other hustlers, a lot of other people that are doing the same thing. So it's very comforting to have that, to have that kind of support. Throughout the years, I've, become really good friends with some of my best friends, are literally do the same thing as me. So we would always be like an audition together and be like, you got this. Or like, we would get ready together before the audition, or, just kind of support each other. So I think that's the biggest thing. You have to have the personality to not be super selfish, and be supportive of each other, even though you're like trying to get the same job. But I think that I think that it is a very hard business, but, and in New York City, it's kind of like that term, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Sometimes you're reminded of that a lot. But I think it makes you, I think because of my dancer background, where dancers are constantly working towards making themselves better and better and better. And I think it helps in a world where you audition, and if you might get cut or you might not do a dance combination that well or something like that, you get discouraged. But I'm so used to then being like, okay, I need to work on this, and then, just get stronger at this. If I, as I learn about myself through auditions, it's hard, but growing up as a dancer, I was kind of used to that as well. Like I said, going to dance competitions, maybe not winning, maybe not doing your best at a competition. You're kind of used to that mentality. Now, when there's a lot of no's in a row, it does get discouraging slightly, but then I personally remind myself that I love this. I love to dance. I love to sing. I love to act. Like I'm doing what I love. I'm just not getting any jobs doing it at, a certain time, but like, it is something that I love. So I will go take a dance class just for myself, or a voice lesson, or and be creative with my friends. Pop Tap NYC, it's a community tap group that I created. And we still meet on Wednesday evenings, but we'd always meet in person on Wednesday evenings. And then I would have everyone over to my home for pizza and wine after, to just have a community of performers. And a lot of young performers come too. So it's really sweet that some people tell me, like, I just saw you on Instagram and I came to Pop Tap. I just came to New York, and I wasn't so scared because I knew it's like something I could go do and meet people and like have a community in the performing world. So, those types of things keep you going, and that strong backbone that you have to just know everything that you did to your best ability, and have integrity for what you do in your work. Even an audition that doesn't go well, or a performance that doesn't go well, you just have to say, I did what, I went in with the best intention, and I am proud of that. So it really helps you become strong.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, it must be tough, but I'm sure for you that you are such for a long time in this type of business, you are getting better and better to cope with this negative side of things.
I can pay it forward to younger performers too. I can help them with that journey as well. So it's not so lonely.
Exactly. That's nice. So your first show on Broadway, back in 2005, it was Pamlet, something like this. Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience to go from a normal performance to like Broadway? For us, Broadway is like, wow. So how was that experience? Were you nervous?
It was, I was 20 when I got it. And And not only, so in New York, in auditions, there are open auditions and then there are invited auditions. And this show was my very first invited audition, where it was a private, only a certain amount of people were invited. And the fact that I just did not think that I was going to get it. You know what I mean? Like I just kind of like went in, did my thing, and the choreographer, Casey Nicolau, I guess he liked me and wanted to take a chance on me, because the role that I got, my Broadway debut, was being a swing. And I don't know if you know what a swing is in a show, but I wasn't on stage every night. I had to know 6 different parts in the show, and I would go on for them whenever anyone was out, whether sick, on a vacation, a personal day, something like that. So I would have to know 6 parts and go on for all 6 of those parts. So that was my first Broadway experience. It wasn't even just learning one part. It was learning
how it's possible that, like 6 parts and like all the understudies and all of the, like, that's crazy.
It's crazy, but I do have to say it, in the limit, in the dance cardio, that's how I'm able to reverse the dances so quickly, because I had to, like, mentally, I have to reverse different sides on the stage or the dances. So it's really great. It's one of the, like, hardest jobs on Broadway. And it was my very first job on Broadway. So, but I remember going and walking up to the stage door, the Schubert Theater on 44th Street on Broadway. And I walked up to the stage door to walk into the Broadway theater for the first time, where I just got cast. And I was like, it took me a second to open the door. I was like, oh my gosh. And I just walked in and I was just like, hi, everyone's doing their thing. Everyone doesn't really know who I am. I could be a dresser. I could be a musician. I don't know. Nobody really know, but I walked into what's called the stage manager's office, which is kind of like the main office where everything is backstage. And they were so welcoming. The dance captain just welcomed me with open arms. And I learned my 6 parts. And and not doing the show every night and being so young in my Broadway debut and having to just hop in, like just go on. That was very, very stressful. But again, what I remember, I mean, it's been so long since that first moment, but I remember when I went on for the first time, telling myself that exact thing I just told you, saying, I just said in my mind, nothing can go wrong because I'm doing what I love. Like nothing can really go that wrong because I literally am getting to do what I love right now. So I just always like tell myself that of like, I'm getting to do what I love right now, what I've been doing my whole life, and things went wrong, but that's okay. But it wasn't like, detrimental. We're singing and dancing. It's a musical. It's not, that super high stakes. Yeah. But we're just bringing joy to people. But yeah, that Broadway experience was pretty special, only because the choreographer took a chance on me. It's not like I had worked with him a bunch. He literally just took a chance on me so young. And then I was in that show for, I think almost 4 years on Broadway in that show. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. It sounds amazing. I don't know. It's like a dream come true. I imagine you.
It was.
And it's like, it should be, a magnificent experience. So, and can you tell me your best memory that you have from Broadway in your shows? If you have to name one of the best memories that you have from these years that you were on Broadway?
I mean, I think I always go to the Broadway musical Something Rotten that I was in. I had my principal debut in Something Rotten, which was huge. But I think that there was this number in Something Rotten called It's a Musical. And I got to tap dance center stage on a Broadway stage and literally be my entire self, like Beth Nicely, what I literally am as a human, to like 150% on stage in that number. And I remember the first time we did that number with an audience, at the end of the number, not only did the audience applaud, but the entire audience stood up. I've never experienced a standing ovation in the middle of a show. So I think that like that was pretty special because it just was like the pinnacle moment of how magical live theater is, that you can do something so joyful and so wonderful that makes an entire house of like thousands of people immediately stand up and clap. It's just like, that was I think that goes down as one of the most special moments I've ever experienced on Broadway. And it wasn't about me. I mean, I was in the number, but like pretty much almost the whole cast was on stage. So it was literally like, the whole cast was being applauded and a standing ovation in the middle of the show, which was really, really cool.
Nice. So I think you already talked about this, but what skills have you developed as a Broadway performer that you can use in your everyday life outside the theater?
Yes. Discipline. I think, and resilience. Like we talked about, it's a hard business to be in. It's wonderful when you're on Broadway, but it's also hard when you're on Broadway, like 8 shows a week. You sacrifice every night, like most people go to dinner or have dinner with their families or put their kids to bed or something like that. And you sacrifice every single night, except one night a week. And you don't have any holidays. You only have 2 weeks of vacation a year. So I think that like, that work ethic, that hard work ethic, I think is just instilled in me. Like, it's just like a natural, like, I don't even think about it, even like now, like, I mean, starting a business during a pandemic, that like work ethic and schedule is, I mean, that's what is how I was able to do that and still able to do it, is that I'm used to sacrificing and being resilient and just working really, really hard and not expecting anything from my hard work, just doing the work, doing it well, and knowing that that's enough. And hopefully something comes from it. But like, like just doing the work and being humble while doing the work, and not, being like, I need accolades now, but I think that has helped me be successful just in life, mentally and physically, because I've had to overcome any kind of, it's hard to say that like auditioning and stuff is difficult in the realm of the world, I can't really, like, I know things are all relative, but like, it's not that hard compared to what many other people have to deal with. I guess that also helps me, with that, but the hustle of it has helped me in my life in general, to just keep going, keep moving forward, that kind of thing.
And after you got your first show, was it easy to stay in the industry, or not really?
Oh, it's never easy. You always have to reprove yourself for every show. And that also, just makes you tough. And eventually you work enough for certain people that they might offer you something or ask you to do something and like working with you after time. But still it's always just the hustle of it, which I think is also why theater people are are so humble because they, all of us constantly just work hard to keep doing our craft.
You can't take it for granted. You need to always.
Yeah. And everyone has gotten a number of no's, so not one person is better than, like I'm better than you. No, we still all get no's, So I think that makes you humble overall.
So now a two-part question. What is the best thing and the most challenging thing about performing in general, any kind of performance?
I think the best thing would be the energy between the live audience and the live performance. How you can perform and lose yourself in front of a whole group of people that then are pulled in by you, what you're giving them. I think that and every performance is different. So the energy between the performers and the audience is different every night because the audience is different, but it's just magic made in that one evening every night that's so special that everyone in that entire theater knows that they're the only ones that experienced that live performance. I think that's what's really cool. And the hardest is probably, I'm just going to talk about like performing and not the audition part, but like performing. I think the hardest sometimes is just when you're tired and you have to perform the consistent same level every night when you're tired or when you're getting over the flu or, when you've lost someone or, you have to step up. And I think it's really hard sometimes to find that performance each time when you're not full of energy and, life's not giving you anything, to deal with. It's a different level of being on, that I think that can be kind of hard sometimes, especially 8 shows a week.
Yeah, because it's hard to keep all the energy when you're doing it so often, but at the same time, keeping in mind that for the people who are watching, it's an unique experience, probably like once in a lifetime.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly. And everyone has bad days at work. And for you cannot show that you are in a bad day. It sounds really hard to deal with. So, but now you also are a fitness instructor. Why and when did you become a fitness instructor?
I've always loved fitness. I've always been a dancing, running. I've always been very consistent with working out. And I actually became a fitness instructor when I didn't work in the theater for like 4 years. I couldn't get a job. And I was like, well, I guess I'll just like go into maybe teaching some fitness, and a studio hired me and I became a trainer and taught fitness classes for a long time. And then I started, and then it made me stronger actually, like just as a performer. My body was stronger. My vocals were stronger from stamina. And then I was also helping people at the same time and also meeting a whole bunch of different people that weren't theater, like I love like everyone comes from different walks of life in a fitness class and you all do the same thing and just and having like a community to like be in that's not theater in New York is really, really cool as well. So I just, I ended up getting finally getting a job after so long. And I just continued doing it. It was just like, I loved it. I loved helping. I love helping people get stronger and also just trying to inspire, like what we talked about, like the hustle that I've been in my entire performing career and having to buck up and do things that were asked of me, that I didn't think was possible, and like bringing that into fitness because I know it's possible because I've been doing it forever and I've done so many things that never would have thought I could ever do, but using that with fitness. And so I've been doing that for so long. I taught at a studio for a long time that closed at the pandemic. And then I just started, people were reaching out to do private sessions with me. And then I knew for my birthday, I wanted to do a big dance party because I missed that dance cardio type of class. And so that's when the Saturday dance party, the big dance party started. And it's been going ever since April 26th last year. And then once I taught that, people were like, are you going to teach more classes? And I was like, because we're just getting used to the Zoom and all that kind of stuff. And so I just decided to go for it. I mean, Sutton Foster and Jennifer Garner, huge cheerleaders of mine. I wouldn't have started The Limit without them. They were the ones that really were like, you can do this. We're behind you. You can do this. We're going to help you. We're going to cheer you on. And so I just started filming videos. I just started deciding on a name. I spoke with lawyers to get an LLC. I just started just doing stuff. And then July 12th, Sutton was like, let's do an Instagram live. And on that Instagram live, we're announcing that this is The Limit. And I was like, okay, I was like, I'm not ready. And she was like, no, you just got to do it. So the first Instagram live and the introduction of The Limit was July 12th, this past July 12th. And I've just been doing it ever since. I mean, just been doing it.
You do weekly dance classes over Zoom, right?
Yes. Yeah. There's classes every day. Yeah.
And then it's also to raise awareness and money for charity. That's really, really nice of you to do it. How did you? Well, I know we are in the pandemic and a lot of people are doing good stuff for charity, but it was in the beginning, it was that your purpose with the dancing classes, or it was something that you were?
Yeah, well, I just decided that if I was going to start a business, I wanted to give back. I wanted the business to be started on giving back. And I had the opportunity to begin something start something from the beginning. And I just really thought about what I wanted the company to represent, and separate from the workout. I knew what I wanted the workout to represent and be, but I knew I wanted the business to I support Save the Children. That's an organization that Jennifer Garner introduced me to that I really am passionate about. I've always been passionate about children and giving children all over the world the best opportunity they possibly can have to succeed. I mean, we've all been children, and you know how vulnerable and affected we are by life, by our parents, by our surroundings, by our friends, by everything. And that really just shapes humans, shapes adults, and a lot of kids are not given the same opportunity, even just have water and food. So I just knew I wanted to support Save the Children. And then it just also happened that the company was beginning with the whole Black Lives Matter. And I definitely did my learning. I learned about the Black Lives Matter movement and everything. And I wanted to, because I was like, this is perfect. Like, we can really start something whilst this is starting something. Not really, it's been going on for a long time, but just like one of the biggest movements there's been, with Black Lives Matter. And so I just wanted to support that as well. So it just ended up being both Save the Children and to support the Black Lives Matter and equal justice and everything. But yeah, and then, there's so much, there's so much you want to support everything. I want to support everything. But I was like, this is good. This is Saturday dance party. And then what was also wonderful is Sutton on Sundays, when we decided to do the Instagram live, and then eventually we're able to support the Actors Fund, which is important to both of us because so many actors are out of work. So yeah, that was just like the giving back part. So, which I'm super proud of, because, it's really hard to start a business and give back at the same time. But I wanted to do that so much. So, but,
just explain to the people that don't know, with the Saturday dance classes, people, when they sign up, they can donate whatever they can. And then you make sure that it gets to the right organizations. And then with Sutton, whatever calories she burns on the workout, she donates that to the same amount to the Actors Fund.
Yes.
So that the people know what we're doing.
Just so they know. Yeah. Which is lovely of her. Yeah.
So it's more or less a simultaneous thing. Like, you knew already when you started the dance classes that eventually it will be also a business. Mm-hmm. The idea right away from the beginning.
Actually not necessarily from the beginning. I think that it just grew so much that I was like, I think I have to start a business.
That was my question, if it was inevitable, because so many people got involved.
Yeah, so many people got involved, and it just started growing, that I was like, it's got to be a business. And then I was like, I can't do it fully on my own. No one can do everything on their own, So I was like, I need to bring on a team. Yeah. And which I'm super proud about, because the team are all performers out of work as well. So it's a nice group of women that are certified trainers as well, like me, that would train and perform and do their craft. And it's a lovely team, and it's awesome. So now there's a team.
Did it surprise you how much or how fast the whole thing grew, or how it exploded?
Yeah, I guess I just didn't know if it would be. In my years of teaching and training, I've had a following for 9 years of teaching, and I knew people liked my classes and stuff like that, but I didn't know if that would transfer into if I did something myself. So yes and no. I was prepared for the no, and then I was also really blown away by how much of a yes it was.
And then the advantage of doing it online is that you can reach the whole world, not just New York, maybe where people could actually go to your class.
Yes, which is it blows my mind. Aisha and it just blows my mind, and it's so amazing. People from all over the world at thelimit.com, the only place in the world that's not visited the website is Antarctica. Antarctica. Maybe we'll find someone in Antarctica.
We could help with that, but Antarctica, I don't think. Yeah.
But I was like, everywhere in the world has visited thelimit.com, but Antarctica, which is fine. But it's amazing. And also for families too. It's really, really cool. This is the silver lining of the pandemic for sure. One of the silver linings is all of these people, a huge community all over the world. And then families, kids seeing their parents work out and learning that from their parents, which they might not see them like go to a class somewhere or go, like, and see their parents working hard and do, and they want to join in too. And it's a family activity. And it's just really, really cool. Like the connection and the community that is made through this, through the Zoom.
I've been convincing my mom to try. I think I'm almost. Almost there. So is that maybe the most rewarding thing about this process of creating the limit? Or I don't know if you can think of anything else. What's been
gosh. That is rewarding. I think the giving back and the community built, but then also the messages of everyone's lives being changed, like for the better, actually like physically and mentally, like the workout part, like people actually getting stronger physically and mentally and seeing it. And it just them, I think what I love is that because of the workout is so hard, it's hard not to move forward when you're pushed so hard. But I think that like during this time where it feels very standstill, and a lot of people's lives are turned upside down and they're like not in a comfortable, like, this is my home. A lot of people are like displaced everywhere. I think that what I love is that, which is the most important to be strong, to get through a lot of stuff in life, is that people's mental and physical ability has moved forward during a time that doesn't seem very forward moving. And that has created like such strength and resilience in people that that's pretty cool, to see people move forward mentally and physically just from the community and the workout online. That's pretty cool.
So you already mentioned, but you've worked with some stars like Jennifer Garden and Nicole Kidman in The Prom, and obviously Sutton, and they all love you and root for your success. But the exact same thing can be said about all the anonymous people around the world, like everyone that is a part of the Limit community, because I think everyone feels equally like seen and supported and inspired by you. So what do you think it is that you bring that makes people feel so engaged and so positive?
I don't know. I mean, I'm like my mom. I'm very similar to my mom. I'm very happy and I really like love what I do. And I just, and I, even when I perform, I just like love giving like what I love to do to other people. And I love that people like to, like that as well. But I also, I don't know. I think that's a hard one because I'm not very good with saying like, well, it's because I do this. Like, I'm not very good. But all I can say is that I do love what I do. And I do truly care about anyone that I teach and train. I really, really do care about anyone because I really think that everyone is truly capable of more than they think they are. And I don't know. I think that hopefully like they're attracted to the love-hate, like I make it really hard, but like try to smile during it.
But it works because it's really hard, like to hate you because you're lovely and so smiley, but like today you were saying, let's dig deeper. It's like, what have we been doing so far?
But I think I get that from my mom a lot because I feel like that's my relationship. Like, oh, but you just make it so fun. But I don't really want to clean right now, but you make it really fun. I don't know, like just like that. Maybe that's
like on Sundays, the most hilarious is like all your energy, and then Sutton sometimes. I mean, she loves it for sure, but it's so funny sometimes the two of you, the interaction between the two.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Like, just give me a second.
Just a second. Yeah.
So we often hear how like the social media and the internet can be a toxic environment sometimes, but the community that you created with the limit and probably also with PopTap, but not with the limit online, it's the exact opposite. It's like people, you were talking about Aisha. Aisha is also one of our guests in the
Yeah.
That's very cool. And we met through the limit. But in general, people like are very supportive of each other. So was this something that you had in mind, like creating a safe and positive online community was something that you had in mind when you were doing this, or just happened?
I think a little bit of both. I definitely, the internet and social media is very interesting, isn't it? It's positive and negative. It's very narcissistic. But then it's also become like, it's a business for people. I don't know. It's a very interesting, it's a very different, interesting world. And there's pluses and minuses to it. And I wanted to be a plus to it. You can either disregard social media and say, this is terrible, but then I like a challenge. I refuse to let it be so negative. Sometimes I was like, well, I'm going to be the one that makes it the good part, so definitely like active about that. And I personally am very aware of what I post, on PopTap, on the limit, on my personal, I taught these two little girls. Now they're big girls, but for a while I've been teaching them dance. And it was one of my moments a while ago when I was teaching them and realized they have Instagram accounts and they watch and like and see everything I do on my Instagram. And every single time I put something out there, I think about them seeing it, and any other, kids or teenagers seeing my Instagram and being very careful of what I say, what I put out there. And I just always, I'm very active in making it a very positive, open, safe area for people to be in all three of the Instagram accounts. So I was very active in doing that. But then I think that I just try to be happy and positive no matter what all the time. So I think that just naturally happens as well. But I'm very aware and want to put out good.
Because it's a thin line, even, for example, with fitness, between the inspiring someone or putting pressure, because a lot of times people see a lot of, like, I don't know, posts about fitness or this type of body. So and it can be inspiring for some people, but it can also just feel like pressure. And so it's not easy sometimes to manage the whole thing, I think.
Yeah. And I think it's not easy the fitness world is a very interesting world. It's very easy. I read somewhere that for fitness instructors to be aware, because most women with eating disorders are very into fitness and follow fitness a lot. And I think that it's very important for a trainer or anyone with fitness to be aware of that and change the narrative of some things. And I've always believed, I'm like, with fitness, I'm the opposite. I do like what I like to push myself. I don't think about my image or like, I just want to be able to do so many tuck burpees, so I always hone in on your physical ability, mentally and physically. That's what's important to me, not the exterior or the narrative that happens a lot with fitness. And like you said, some people are very inspired by it. But I think I'm a little more along the lines of an athlete than like a fitness influencer. I respect and I'm into the performance, the like ability and the perseverance through that. So yeah. And like I said, the little girls that I taught dance to, I think about them every single time I post something. So that's a good way for me to really think about myself as a fitness influencer, leader, whatever you'd like to say, or someone that people like look to. I think it's more about the training for me and your mental and physical ability.
Well, you mentioned burpees. I do have to ask. Mm-hmm. On average, how many burpees are in a Saturday dance class?
You know what?
I always think I should count, but
I know. Well, it depends. Yeah. It depends on the dances we do. True. Like if we do the dances that have the burpees between, I mean, I know that like, there's gotta be like at least like 80 or something in the last one. Yeah. Maybe. But yeah, it depends on the dances, maybe we'll do one class where it's all the burpee dances.
Okay, don't tell people that it started in this conversation.
I won't.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, because I'm always like thinking I should count one day, but then maybe it's better not to know.
Yeah, sometimes it's like that thing where if you know how many you've done, you might be like, oh, I can't do any more. But if you don't know, you're like, I don't know, I could have done 10.
Yeah, because sometimes, I know usually you say like 8 or 16, and sometimes like I'm just going to focus on the music because with the music, I know like when you're changing to something else, maybe it's better not to talk.
Yeah, never know. Yeah. When you're feeling good one day, count and be like, oh, well.
A lot, true.
Yeah.
So as people can see by watching this or even just by hearing, because you can hear it in your voice, you do appear to be very like bubbly and very positive and always smiling. Are you the kind of person who generally like always wake up happy, or is it like a defense mechanism or a way to sometimes also to try give people maybe something that you're lacking or something like this?
That's a good question. No, I'm normal like every person. I get mad, I get tired, I get in a bad mood, but I don't think as often. I usually am more of a half glass full type of person just in general. But I don't know. Maybe it could be covering up something. I don't know. But I really am just like happy. I don't know. but I like get mad and I get tired and I get angry and I, like all of that, irritated, all of that. But
Yeah. And so, do you have any future projects on your sleeve that you can talk about?
Nothing that I can talk about, but things that I've, might be a part of or work on. But I actually try like to just not think about them because, you just don't know. It's like the business that I'm in. I always try to just like not assume, that this is going to happen or this kind of stuff. But yeah, maybe some possibilities in my performing career. But always
you'd still like to do, like managing both the fitness world and still, if you can continue to perform, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know it'll be interesting. It will be an interesting transition kind of gauging once the world is like more, like back a little bit. I think it'll be a combination of both the Zoom and like live classes here and there in New York, but I think the Zoom is here, the virtual is here to stay, which is lovely. It's great. It's awesome with like gathering people from all over, but I'm in New York City, so there will be like some live classes here and there, with whatever, but in growing the limit. But yeah, I plan to do both, do everything.
That's good. Yeah. And so, I was never in United States. I really want to visit. So can you tell me a place that tourists don't usually know, but it is totally worth in New York City that you are from?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Something that no tourist normally goes, and you think you cannot miss in New York City. Something to recommend. I don't know. Besides Broadway, of course.
I know. Besides
I really want to see.
Yeah, Broadway, we know it's.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always think of like I either think of a restaurant or the outdoors section.
Well,
but outdoors is fine.
Yeah, I think the Upper West Side Highway is beautiful. I run there a lot, and I mean going up, like up, like Washington Heights, like the northern part of Manhattan. It's beautiful. I always think that that's really cool to like check out or take a walk through, because a lot of people go to Central Park, which I love Central Park, but like you go to New York, you don't really think about the West Side Highway along the Hudson. It's beautiful. So I think that's a really cool area to check out if you want to see how pretty like the parks are. I love it. Like, I love running it. I'm always like blown away I'm like, this is here. Like, I had no idea, like, as I'm running, but that, and then, I don't know, it might be getting popular, but one of my favorite places is Alice's Teacup on the Upper West Side. I don't know. So people know about it now, I guess, but it's one of my favorite places in New York. Just, tea, scones, sandwiches, but just really, really good cake. Like, it's just great. And it's only in New York, and it's just a special little place.
Nice.
Yeah. It sounds great. I really want this pandemic to just travel and see the world.
It'll be so great when you do.
So we have a very important question now. Again, a two-part question. So the first part is, have you ever been to Portugal?
No, I've always wanted to go.
The second part is, when are you coming?
I'll come as soon as I can. I guess you can travel, right? I don't know.
I think it depends a bit on the country.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know exactly.
Oh my gosh, I would love to come. I've always wanted to come to Portugal.
So come and we'll show you around.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
Did you been in Europe or another country here in Europe?
Yes, I've been to Italy. I've been to England, and I've been to Switzerland.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're next on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to come. So we have some typical questions here on the podcast. And one of them is that one of the guests leaves another question to the next guest. Mm-hmm. So your question from the other guest is,
actually really
what do you do?
Yeah. Go, madam.
Okay. Can I go? Sorry. What do you do to make yourself happy?
To make myself happy.
Someone that doesn't know you at all, so it's a good question for you.
Yeah. A few things, but it's so funny. It's like a couple of them are what I just told you: go for a run and go to tea at Alice's Teacup. But so that's truly, or choreographed tap dances. I like.
Good.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So, and another question often here on the podcast is, I don't know if you know, but our name is Especialmente Normal, that can translate for something like specially normal. So what do you consider specially normal? Something special, but that is very normal for you?
Especially normal. I think perseverance. I think that to me it's normal, but I don't think it is to other people at all. So that's what's special about it, is either if you just have it naturally or if you find it, and make it normal, make it a normal thing.
Okay, so now Beth, for the last question, and this is the one that we told you about before, but yes. What question does no one ever ask you and you wish someone would?
I've been thinking about this so much, and I've really been, I cannot think of like what I would want someone to ask me. I've literally been thinking about this nonstop, and I'm like, what would I want people to ask me? Like, I thought like maybe it's something like deep, like, are you truly happy? And I'm like, yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, I was like, that's not a very interesting answer. But like, I don't know. Is that bad? Like, is that bad that people can't think of something for someone to?
We're doing this is the second season, and I came up with a question and I still don't have an answer for it. So,
but that's a good question, because it's like when you ask a question like that and it makes you think so much. That's a really good question, even though I don't have the answer to it.
And actually, because like everyone gives such different answers, we're always very surprised with the wide range of answers. But it's fine. If you don't have an answer, that's totally fine. Don't worry.
No, I don't. I've been really thinking about this too.
At some point, you get an answer, you can text us.
Okay.
Don't obsess about it. Don't worry. Don't think about it anymore.
It's a difficult one, yeah.
It is. It's a good one. Like, it really makes me think, like, dig deep of like, what would I want someone to ask me?
But it's good. Maybe people around you ask you a lot of questions and you're good.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So yes. So Beth, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
It was lovely.
Lovely to meet you and talk to you. You have a very good energy. You are so positive and with a lot of energy. So it was a really nice conversation.
Yeah.
So thank you very much to say yes to this madness.
Yeah, of course. It's wonderful.
So for anyone that is watching or listening, we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.